Now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are currently done with the sequel trilogy and are focused on the future of the Star Wars franchise, a lot of fans have been very worried with exactly how Disney and Lucasfilm are going to handle everything moving on forward throughout this entire decade of the 2020s. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, you guys may obviously know that in the early 2010s, specifically in 2012 is when Disney bought Lucasfilm, a lot of changes were made to the old expanded universe. In fact, the majority of the old EU was completely deleted and put to the wayside, where they were focusing on new Star Wars lore. And now that they're focusing on a new Star Wars universe, this is going to be modeled after the old EU, as well as giving fans a different perception of some of the Star Wars lore, some of the Star Wars material at its core for the Skywalker saga. Now, on top of all of this, we do know that Disney and Lucasfilm as companies, they are trying their absolute best in order to deliver fans a specific experience for this new Star Wars universe. Now, this new universe is going to consist of books, novels, comics, video games, and yes, even TV shows and movies. That's all going to interconnect with each other, as well as it being modeled after the MCU, which I think is a big risk by Disney personally, but we'll have to wait and see exactly how it's all going to be years from now and looking back on it. Now, on top of all of this, what's rather intriguing is, of course, now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are finished with the sequel trilogy, they are moving on to their new Star Wars universe and their new Star Wars films to create a brand new mythology of Star Wars after Episode 9. One of the big plans by Disney and Lucasfilm is to change history of the Star Wars lore and its core material to expand the franchise, and that a part of the change has to do with the prequel trilogy era. Now, it's noted that Disney and Lucasfilm have a plan for their new Star Wars universe to change aspects and to retell elements of the prequel trilogy, especially with Revenge of the Sith. Is that one big plan is that they have is in order to explain how Anakin Skywalker was actually created, and that this is said to be visually told in an upcoming graphic novel, as well as a brand new book that will actually change the Phantom Menace. This reset of the prequel trilogy is said to make fans view the films in a different way, and that not only that, but they also are said to be rewriting and revealing exactly what killed Padme Amidala in Episode 3, and that this will be told from a different way by Lucasfilm to also change how fans view the film once they read the material moving forward. This is said to be their way to change aspects of Star Wars history, and that they are also going to dive more into Palpatine and changing elements of his character of the prequels with the new Star Wars universe. This reset of the prequel trilogy is also said to rewrite aspects of the films that will be presented in the forms of books, novels, comics, and even graphic novels that are going to change the films in significant ways. However, Disney hopes to do this in a positive sense for the Star Wars community. Anakin as a character is also said to be rewritten to certain levels in the new Star Wars universe as a whole during the prequel trilogy era. So, let me just say one thing here, is that I believe that they should just let sleeping dogs lie, to say things, simple here. I think that when you look at everything related to what Disney and Lucasfilm have been doing, and what they have been doing with the sequel trilogy, it almost seems like that this is a dangerous move by Disney. Now, obviously, there's a lot of mystery still involved with the prequels. A lot of elements of those movies really do mystify the fans, such as Darth Plagueis, Anakin Skywalker and how he was created, Padme's death and everything related to it in that sense, all of which are going to be twisted around by Disney. And this, to me, could either be good or bad depending on, exactly which route they're really going to go. Now, when we look at the prequels, obviously, say what you will about George Lucas and say what you will about those movies, but those movies in and on themselves, it does indeed have their moments. There are moments in The Phantom Menace that are very well done, such as Darth Maul and his fight scenes, and in Attack of the Clones, we have the Count Dooku material, right? So, when we look at the prequels, I think it should be left alone. I don't think anything should be changed. Obviously, explaining Anakin Skywalker's creation is intriguing, it's very interesting, but like I say, it's risky, because if it's not done correctly, a lot of fans are going to be very angry, and there's just going to be more backlash, and it's not just good for everybody. So, What I think they're trying to do is that they're really honestly trying to really kind of lay the foundation for this new Star Wars universe by first kind of connecting everything to the Skywalker saga and changing elements of that, and giving us a different side of those movies and how they're going to be rewriting elements of that in books, novels, comics, and graphic novels, you name it. So, like I say, guys, I mean, the fact that they're also going to dive more into Palpatine and how that ties into the rise of Skywalker is also going to be interesting. Like I say, though, still a big risk if not done correctly, and I think the fans will have a big problem with it if Disney fails at this once again. So, with that being said, guys, like I've always said before in the past, let's see exactly how this all rolls out throughout the 2020s, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon.